Hi there folks, welcome to another video by the brilliant expat Taffy. Now folks, this will be just one of a series of videos showing that all the LEM'S are one and the same. There's not 6 LEM'S, there's just one. And I'll be providing the irrefutable evidence to prove that. Now, that last video of mine sure really did cause a stir, didn't it? With the cart, how did Alan Shepard cart it to the moon? Joan Evans couldn't see the funny side of that title. What do you mean, cart it to the moon? How did he cart what? Now, as I told you in the past, what we're going to be dealing with is just one clue at a time. So we don't give these morons room for manoeuvre. We don't give them a chance to chop and choose, dodge this issue, and only concentrate on that issue. It's one at a time. Before we go any further, for the benefit of the morons, a couple of points I wish to clear up here. What we're bound to have from an idiot, Nathan Sanders, is a comment, "Hey, expat, what are you doing with that jacket on?" Well, what I can tell you, after being used to 37 degrees in this country of Thailand, I can tell you we're now in the cold season and everybody is wrapping up, despite the fact that the temperature here is 21 degrees. It's bloody cold for us, because we're not used to it. Okay, Nathan Sanders, that's why I'm wearing the coat. Now, for your benefit, there you are, I'll put my glasses on, right? Give you some more to moan about. Okay, Nathan Sanders? You can now moan about me taking the glasses off if you want. There you are, I'm taking them off. Now, folks, the next important point I wish to make here is, if you live in the UK, and you want to watch the videos by Apollo Detectives, Shill Stompers and Expat Taffy, I suggest you get a VPN, because with a VPN you can change your location and you can get around YouTube's blocking of the video, something that occurs very often when dealing with videos that concerns this moron here, Brian Pop Robson, who don't want his real name mentioned in the UK. I won't mention it in this video, I'll put it in the comments for you to see what his real ID is. He don't want the people of England to know what a stupid idiot he is. Now folks, what sparked this video off here is a comment by one of the NASA nutcases, Cornelius Crew, who in my last video, he suddenly seemed to have turned over a new leaf. He said, "Expat Taffy, I agree, you are correct." What? I said, "Quick, get on the bloody phone, get and make an appointment with your doctor. There's got to be something wrong with you for you to agree with me. Make an appointment as soon as possible, because you are in danger." Now folks, despite that flash in the pan moment of glory by that idiot Cornelius Crew, he decided to dump that moment of glory in the bin after being brainwashed by this moron here, one big monkey, who, as far as I'm concerned, he must be the son of that sheriff due for deep justice in the film Smokey and the Bandit. Okay folks, now over the last 10-15 years, while the brilliant expat Taffy has been examining NASA's fake moon landings, whenever the brilliant expat Taffy exposes serious anomalies, it's always the same. We get NASA changing the description, altering photos, and changing their stories, as they done with the previous video I just put out, which concerns this photo here. Take a look at it. Yes, there you are folks, a package that's supposed to be a box containing Alan Shepard's cart. Now, a couple of years ago, they did have a description with this photo that they didn't have enough room in the LEM, so they strapped it to the leg of the lander. And with my last video, as I proved, that was not the case. And so what have they done? They've now changed the story. They're claiming it wasn't tied to the lander leg, it was inside the LEM. That's the claim by that idiot one big monkey. But ask them, why on earth would you cover a box with mylar and then stick it inside the LEM? Because there was no other item in the LEM that had to be covered with mylar. So far, they haven't come up with an answer for that, but maybe after 3 or 4 years, giving it a lot of thought, they'll make up an answer for it. Now folks, another case of NASA altering the story goes back a long time, to 1969, when Bill Casing said the landings are fake because one of the most important points of evidence that it was fake was no blast crater under the LEM for Apollo 11. As he said, you can't land a rocket on a surface without it disturbing the moon's surface. So they had to provide an explanation for that. And despite all their claims was there's not enough power in the rocket to disturb the soil, what they done for Apollo 12, they made alterations to the photo. And here is that alteration coming up, folks. Okay, take a look at what you've got here, folks. Here's what you've got underneath the Apollo 12 LEM. To cover for that embarrassment of no crater, what they done, they decided to put a crater under Apollo 12. Only, it was not a crater blown out by a rocket engine under the LEM. You can see all the soil that came out of that hole is pushed to one side. It's only been moved about 1 or 2 feet. Now a rocket engine doesn't dispose of soil in that manner. They dug the hole out with a shovel, just put the soil to one side, and inside that hole, that crater, you can see a number of metal objects. Okay? A number of metal objects. And there's something else very important in this photo, which I will display later on. Something else very important. Now there's 2 clues in here that proves one thing, and that is the Apollo 11 LEM is the Apollo 12 LEM. They're both one and the same. Now folks, let me assure you here that prior to me exposing the lies regarding that crater under that Apollo 12 LEM, proving in a video a few years ago that it wasn't created by the blast from the LEM engine, it was dug out by hand and the soil just put to one side and a few metal objects thrown into the crater. Prior to that video of mine, NASA's description for that photo was note the blast crater under the LEM. But after that video of mine, that description was deleted. It was changed, which is normal practice with NASA whenever their lies are exposed. Okay folks, now for all those who watched the last video, you'll see where I promised to expose this photo of this LEM AS14-66-9306 as a fake. And what I've got here for you now is further evidence for that. Take a look at a clipping coming up. There you are folks, what you've got here now under this Apollo 14 LEM is the same man-made dug-out crater with a few metal objects thrown into it that I showed you in Apollo 12, folks. Proof: Apollo 12 equals Apollo 14. This is one of the many cases where they failed to clean up one side before they prepared the next site. Okay folks, let me assure you this now. The 2 photos you've just seen showing that serious anomaly of a man-made dug-out crater appearing in Apollo 12 and Apollo 14. In them 2 photos there is still another serious anomaly, another clue that proves all the LEMs are one and the same. I won't expose it here, I'll keep it for a future video. I'll let all the NASA nutters, especially that idiot, One Big Monkey, comment on this video first. And then I'll use them other 2 anomalies to shut the lot of them up. It's one where Expat Taffy is going to be laughing his knackers off, showing what an idiot Cornelius Crew is. Okay folks, what we're going to be looking at now is a very important clue in this Apollo 11 LEM here. One that, as you can see, it's been photoshopped. But we're going to be looking at one certain anomaly that shows that it's the same LEM as Apollo 12. Take a look at the clipping coming up. There you are, folks, take a look at that. What you've got there is a metal ring of some kind. It looks like a dish. It's what the idiot Birdie Slack claims to be a sample bowl. Well, watch for the next photo coming up and you'll see it's in that as well. Okay, now just remember, the photo I just shown you is from Apollo 11, showing that ring. Okay, now what we're going to do now is skip to Apollo 12 again, where I showed you the crater and the dug out crater with the soil just dumped to one side. And if you look to the right, at the blue arrow on the right, you can see exactly the same metal ring or bowl that's in Apollo 11. And there you are, folks. A closer look at it. The same metal ring or bowl here in Apollo 12 that I showed you was in Apollo 11. Looks like whoever was doing the filming at the stage setups never cleaned up before they went on to the next mission. Well, what do you think of that so far, folks? Just a couple of examples. There's proof that all the LEM'S are one and the same. There was only one LEM. They just did a bit of changing with the dressing here and there, a couple of alterations, but they left a load of clues telling us they were all one and the same. Okay, folks, to finish this video, a little story here. It's obvious from the comments that Expat Taffy or his other ID, Basil Brush, has been receiving over the last couple of days. It's obvious I've got the shills worried because of a certain comment I put out a few days ago. Now, that comment is regarding Joan Evans. Now, what it is, folks, for the last 2 or 3 years, the brilliant Expat Taffy has been asking all these idiots one question. Why is it for Apollo 15, 16 and 17, the unloaded gear seems to have what looks like a white sheet covering it? I done a video on it and I said, were they expecting rain on the moon? Now, the first one to answer the question there, why is there a sheet over it, was one of Joan Evans' sock puppets. He said it's to protect the gear from microscopic meteorites. I said, well, what about when they take the sheet off and they want to use the gear? Or what about the rover? Or what about all the other gear they got scattered around? Or what about the astronauts themselves? With their delicate suits? Wouldn't they be attacked by microscopic meteorites? That shut him up like that, and he went, and we haven't seen him since. Now, another one who wouldn't answer it is the idiot Cornelius Crew. Another one that I've asked it time after time is Joan Evans. I must have asked Joan Evans at least 50 times. Give me an explanation for this white sheet, or what looks like a white sheet. It really got up Joan's nose, folks. She couldn't stand it anymore, because all she'd done for the last 50 times I've asked it is, I've already answered that, I've already answered that, I've already answered that. Georgia told her, hey Joan, the record's stuck. I've already answered that, I've already answered that. It must have got up Joan Evans' nose so much, she decided she had to tackle this question. I've already answered that. And what she'd just done in the last couple of weeks is brought out a video trying to discredit the brilliant Expat Taffy and think she can provide an explanation for this look-alike so-called white sheet over the gear. And I can tell you it's the best Christmas present I've had. And the reason it's got the best Christmas I've had, folks, is because examining the photos again, the brilliant Expat Taffy has just made another excellent discovery. And that video is going to prove what a stupid idiot Cornelius Crew, Nathan Sanders, One Big Monkey and Brian Pop Rods, what idiots they are. And not only that, it's going to prove that Joan Evans is a mentally insane arsehole.